Now, second thing. Second thing to then kind of invest in or to build up your. Recently, someone said to me, "I think I want to start using this. What do I need?" Then they list out some things. I said, you just start. Relate to this like almost like you are learning carpentry now, and instead of like, and now of course these days what do? We go buy the most complete set, right? We go buy the most complete set. Kurt, maybe you too. The most complete set. But no, more meaningful is to, the more meaningful way is start with a basic tool. Get familiar with that, then slowly get the next tool, so to say. So this is like a toolbox. Develop it that way. So the next one is this set here called Bell and Vajra. Bell and Vajra. Bell and Vajra. Now, whereas Mala, across several Buddhist traditions, they do use this. And just again, FYI, outside of the Tibetan tradition, all the other traditions, if they use Mala, they use their right hand. They don't use left hand. Including Hindus would use right hand. And I think Hindus, when they see us using left hand, they get like a little shocked, if not offended. Because in Indian culture, left hand is used for cleaning yourself. And it's considered like dirty. But precisely because of that, Vajrayana says you use your left hand to overcome these concepts of clean and unclean. This dualistic mind. So that's another reason left hand actually, other than the receive with your left, give with your right. In the Indian context of Vajrayana, left hand is to cut these concepts of clean and unclean. And specifically in that culture, it also has to do with class and privilege. So the higher you are, right, then the higher class, higher caste you are, and the more purity rules you have to follow. So that's one. Then when it comes to Vajra and Bell, this is specific to Vajrayana. Specific to Vajrayana. So when it comes to Vajrayana, then there is a very, you could say, heavy symbolism. Layers and layers of symbolism. So there is not much really use. If you are using the Bell and the Vajra without any understanding of what are these things, what am I looking at? Are these patterns here, for fun? Decorative purposes? Actually, no. So we start now with the Vajra. So first thing is, I think many of you don't know this, because I've not really talked about this explicitly. When you get your own Vajra and Bell, you need to decide which side is up. And after you've decided, you tie something to decide this side up. Then from that point on, this is up, this is down. And you don't turn it upside down anymore. You always keep. These days, these Vajra, it's very hard because the Vajra makers even don't do this anymore. In the older Vajras, one tip is longer than the other. Right now, if you measure, I think it's the same. Because they're using, it's just has become sloppy, the people who make this. But that's okay. What you need to do with your own Vajra is tie one end. And then there are 5 there are 4 side prongs with a middle prong. So this is called a 5-pronged Vajra. Yeah? Where you tie this, that becomes east. That prong. We call it the eastern prong. So then eastern prong always faces you. So eastern prong faces you. So this is the one where you tie a little something. Yeah, so east. So when you pick it up, the east should be facing you. Yeah, the front. East, south, west, north. So this is first thing. And then there's up and there's down. Okay? Yeah, you can pick up the Vajra as I describe it. And since we have not decided which is up or down, you can hold it however way you want. But once you have decided up and down, don't turn it upside down. Then when you place it down, for example, up is facing out, the upside. Yeah, when you place it down. Yeah? Not pointing towards you. Yeah? Pointing away from you. That's where the upside goes. Okay? Then, now let's talk about the top prong. Or more general. You have a central prong and you have 4 sides. Both top and bottom identical in that way. Yeah? Coming out of this point, I don't know how to say, coming out of this point, there are 4 sea creatures. They are called sea monsters. These are mythic sea monsters. There's 4, and out of their mouth comes the prong. Okay? Yeah, you see it? So that makara is that sea monster. And what that represents is the sea monster is biting the prong and will not release. And that is the Buddha's compassion will never give up on us. That's the general. Yeah. Biting will never release. Because makara is actually is a mythic crocodile. And that's where they observe, once a crocodile bites down, it will never release. But this is compassion, never releasing us, never abandoning us. So that's one. Then, okay, let's look at the prongs here. So the top one are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. The 5 principal Buddhas in the 5 Buddha system of the mandala. So the front prong, the eastern, is Buddha Akshobhya, which means the immovable one. The southern prong is Ratna Sambhava, which means the source of jewels. That's the meaning of that name, of that Buddha. And the western is Amitabha, which means boundless light, immeasurable light. And the northern one is Amoga Siddhi, the all-accomplishing Buddha. The Buddha who accomplishes everything. And these 5 Buddhas, and then the central prong is the great illuminator, Mahavairochana, in the center. Often, Akshobhya in the eastern direction and Vairochana, depending on the specific mandala system, their position may be switched. So sometimes Akshobhya is said to be the central Buddha, and Vairochana is the eastern Buddha. And the great illuminator in the eastern direction where the sun rises. at least in the northern. Yeah. Wait. No, same. Yeah. So this sometimes is switched. Yeah, so here is encoded here. This Vajra here are the 5 principal Buddhas, 5 principal male Buddhas. These 5 principal male Buddhas have their female counterparts or their female aspect. Right? Because they are the same deity, the same Buddha, except when you discuss them in terms of their masculine side and the feminine side, then you divide them out into the 5 male Buddhas, and then down here are the 5 female Buddhas. And the 5 female Buddhas, the front one is called Lochana, Buddha Lochana, which means the Buddha's eyes. That's her name. And the next prong over here is Mamaki. Mamaki, it means like making mine, like making into mine. That's her name. The one in the back is called Pandaravasini, which is the white robe one. And then the one to the northern direction over here is Samayatara. So these are the 5, right? The 5 female Buddhas. And then the central one, is Datishwari, which means like mistress of the sphere, which means lady boss of everything. That would be the street name. Lady boss of everything is in the middle, which is the consort of the illuminator. So the 5 male Buddhas, the 5 female Buddhas. And the 5 female Buddhas are the 5 elements in their pure state. So the front one is water, eastern direction, then earth, then fire, then wind, and the central one is space. 5 primordial wisdoms, 5 pure elements, 5 male Buddhas, 5 female Buddhas. So when you pick up the Vajra, you're supposed to remember. Now you have in your hands the entire mandala. More details. In the top, there are 8 lotus petals, right? Coming down from the part that we were discussing, coming further inside, there are 8 lotus petals pointing up and then 8 lotus petals pointing down, right? You have that? Yeah. Okay, good. The 8 on top are the 8 male bodhisattvas, and the 8 below are the 8 female bodhisattvas. Then, then the other thing is, on the base of this top one, on the base of the top one is a moon disk, and on the base of the bottom one is a sun disk. And the sun disk is wisdom, and the moon disk is compassion. So out of compassion arises the male Buddhas, out of wisdom arises the female Buddhas. Yeah? Then this part right in the middle, this bulging part right in the middle is called the navel of the Vajra. Just like our navel is where we began, right? Where we began is really at our navel. So all of this began in its navel, and in its navel, that's the Dharma Dhatu, the sphere of reality, the source of everything, which is emptiness. Arises all of this. There are more details. If you look at the design, depending on how detailed the Vajra is, there are these, what do you call them, ridges? Is it? Like in coins? What do you call those? Yeah, those ridges, right? Those are representing light going out. They are rays of light. The ridges there. They're not there just for fun or decorative purposes. It's to communicate the Vajra is blazing with rays of light from top bottom. So then this whole thing is Vajradhara. For those of you who know, which is the name of the primordial Buddha. So the whole Vajra is Vajradhara, the primordial Buddha. And then it's also, the whole thing is compassion.